Go for it, brother.
And good morning, everyone, and aloha snack bar to all the denizens that are out there, far-reaching, thither and yon, hither and yon, here and there, and everywhere. It's I, the Vita Gorilla Economist, the ape, the illustrious ape, and the one and only, the uncanny one named CJ. We are once again back on the airwaves, coming to you this morning. We are pumped up, extremely pumped up on Dark Roast. We're firing on all 8 cylinders, CJ. There's no eco mode
Roger
in
that. Roger
this
that.
radio transmission, brother. There's no eco mode. We are firing on all 8 cylinders. And guys, if you haven't done so already, smash the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up for the like button, and follow us on roguemoney.net, at the Rogue Money on Twitter, Rogue Money Facebook, as well as if you got the podcast, go on the iTunes or Apple, type in Rogue Money on their podcasting app, and boom, we're there. Same thing with Android. You can find us on something like Pocket Cast. If you haven't done so already, also check out the Rogue Money News app, the news section. If you have an Apple device, just go on Apple News, and voila, we are there. We will be on Google News as well soon enough. We're just getting certified for that. And there's some big changes that are ahead that's going to be coming for Rogue Money. We're upgrading to version 4.0, CJ. It's going to be a new revamped site.
Awesome.
Complete integration, and when we broadcast in about a week or so, CJ, when we broadcast, we will be broadcasting not just from YouTube. It'll be broadcast right through RogueMoney.net, into YouTube, into Facebook, into Tumblr, into Livewire, into Periscope, into every single social, into Facebook Live. I mean, the whole thing we are going to be blasting it out. This whole thing is going interstellar, CJ, and I just can't simply keep up with the growth. With that being said, also, guys, our only announcement is if you have debt, if you need help, if you're being stressed out because collectors are calling you, they're threatening your life, they're telling you that they'll take away your children, they're telling you that they're going to eat your pets, they're telling you that they're going to garnish your wages, they're telling you that, hey, you know what, and you're feeling the only way out is bankruptcy. Before you hit the bankruptcy button, before you freak out, give the guys over at myfreedomnow.us a call. Myfreedomnow.us a call. And these guys will get you out of the mess that you're in. Call them. Get a hold of them. And hell, you can even book a call with yours truly where we go over your entire debt and what we can do to help you from soup to nuts. Myfreedomnow.us. With that being said, CJ, what is on the radar, my man?
Bro, I'm still pumped up from yesterday's interviews. Yesterday's shows that we did, man. That was exciting, man. That was awesome.
Bro, me too, man. I am on complete beast mode. I've been on ape mode all day since yesterday, bro. I mean, solutions, man. Solutions. You know what I'm saying? It's like when the darkness was the darkest in 2015 and 16. CJ, we were there giving people a glimmer of light. We were saying, okay, you know what? The crap is going to hit the fan, but here's the way you can wiggle around it. And we said if my man DJT will win, it's going to turn the entire globalization on its heels. This guy is not establishment. This guy is not the typical politician. The world is about to change. And voila. Bro, it's a whole new world, man. Every day I feel like Aladdin on the magic carpet, my man. Every day I feel like Aladdin on the magic carpet.
T minus 48, right? T minus 48.
Heck yeah, man. I'm going through my shopping list of what is the cheapest champagne I can buy in order to celebrate Barry Soetoro's goodbye, and farewell. How about you, man? How's your champagne hunting going along?
I think, shoot, I might break out, some champagne, maybe some cold ones. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to map that day out, right? So
yeah,
I've got some ideas. I've got some ideas that I think that our listeners, I think that you're gonna love. I'll bounce them off you later on, so that way we can do something special on Friday.
Yeah.
To mark that date, a new beginning.
Absolutely, bro, and it truly is a new beginning. The entire world has been reordered. More MAGA news today, CJ, was the fact that, I don't know if you saw this or not, but Trump's already called Canada and Mexico and says, get ready. He's warning them. And he said, get ready. We're going to be renegotiating NAFTA within the first few hours of me being in office.
Boom.
I mean, unreal, bro. Unreal. Unreal. And that shows you the game is changed. And yet it seems that after the game is changed, CJ, the globalists cannot leave well enough alone, my man. They cannot leave well enough alone. So what's on your radar?
Well, we thought that we had had enough of Hillary and the globalist vision of the new world order. But
Yeah.
V, they just keep trying. V, they just keep trying these little things. If you look at the recent terrorist acts in Turkey,
Mm.
that it comes out that they possibly could not be really terrorists. It could be some infiltrators are trying to influence Turkey's decisions on who their alliances are and everything. So
Yeah.
you want to break that down for us as far as what's going on?
Mm. You know, this is the stupidity. Okay, and I want you guys to really listen very carefully. And I want you guys to really compare and contrast what the hell is going on. Actually, really look at this, okay? Just to prove to you the utter mindlessness, the complete vulgarity of these globalists. It's to the point, CJ, that their stupidity is not only brazen, it's gotten to the point, CJ, that their stupidity is not only just laughable and futile, it is vulgarly stupid. Can I even use that as a word? Vulgarly stupid. Okay. Look at this. The latest news out is that Victoria Nuland, okay, who is going to be literally in office for the next 48 to 52 hours, the woman who looks like a brunette version of Hillary Clinton, okay, and the woman who looks like, her face reminds me of that she has put a little cat turd under her nose that she's constantly sniffing. And she has a very distorted look on her visage. Reminds me of a Paul Krugman without all the acid that has been done to warp her mind. This Victoria Nuland, sir, let me explain this to you. Victoria Nuland, her last ditch, her last hurrah, the last 48 hours as Secretary of State, did not spend much time and energy with Christmas or New Year's celebrations this year. She has another very urgent and pressing problem to solve before leaving the State Department, and this is the Cyprus conflict. The way she wants to solve this conflict is by transforming a second member of the EU, after Greece, into a protectorate. As the proposed solution for Cyprus is highly unstable. Now, we all know about Cyprus. It's half Greek, half Turks. The Turks and the Greeks have been fighting for years. They always have beef. They're all both members of NATO, this, that, and the other, okay? So she, and knowing that the Russians used Cyprus as a major hub for money and for transferring money and for keeping things fluid over there, that was one of the biggest reasons why the Cyprus quote unquote capital controls went in there, because they were trying to go after Russian money. This whole attack in Cyprus, the capital controls there, the situation in the Ukraine was all about containing Russia. So now, what she's trying to do is that the proposed solution for Cyprus is highly unstable. Powers outside the EU will be provided also with a bomb inside it. That is the possibility of provoking a Bosnian-type conflict inside, not outside EU borders. Again, she cannot help herself. This sycophant wench has learned from the best. Victoria F the EU, Nuland. She really wants to F the EU again, CJ, but this time creating, okay, a civil war, a possibility of a civil war, a Bosnian-type conflict within Cyprus itself. At the same time, she wants to get Turkey admitted immediately into the EU by the window of the Cypriot settlement, by virtue of the provisions of the Cyprus settlement under the consideration now. Turkey's invested after January 12th with many of the rights and powers and none of the obligations of member states. It also has to legalize it in Geneva, its military presence, and its right to intervene inside the European Union. Such an outcome of the Geneva Conference will have enormous strategic consequences for Europe and for the Middle East, transforming the whole Eastern Mediterranean, a sea lane of vital importance, into a kind of mare nostrum of the naval forces, excluding from there any foreign strategic influence, German, Russian, or Chinese, and laying one more foundation for encircling Russia from the south with a kind of security belt. Isn't it amazing that China and Russia is building the One Belt, One Road initiative and encircling so many nations throughout the world, CJ, with incredible wealth, incredible opportunity. And the U.S., the last few hours of globalization, they are out here trying to build the security belt and trying to hinder access for many people into the warm seas. A centuries long British dream. It was a British wet dream that has now been championed by the globalists who have taken the torch. It will constitute a deeper change in the Mediterranean strategic landscape since the eruption of the so-called Eastern Question, or at least since the Greek National Revolution 2 centuries ago. Now, this also ties into, okay, the 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 situation that's in Ukraine as well, that the idiot Victoria Nuland is proposing. This is all part of what many writers, CJ, are calling the FU referendums, because Miss Newland is so adept at it. Now look, here's the deal. You have this woman, last 48 hours, last couple hours of her freaking worthless life, her pathetic existence as Assistant Secretary of State, as the right-hand troll of the most vicious and criminally insane person to ever walk the earth, probably since Adolf Hitler, which is Hillary Clinton. Okay, this right-hand troll of Hillary, instead of closing up shop and heading off into the sunset, knowing that her reign of terror is about over, her parting gift to the quote-unquote allies inside the EU is to destabilize Cyprus, create conflict between the Greeks and the Turks, all at the same time trying to usher in the Turks into the EU, leave a catastrophic steaming pile of crap in the European Union, all the while this sabotaging bitch exits. I cannot wait for these turds to not only leave power, CJ, but to burn in hell. Okay? Because I'm telling you right now, man, when this is said and done, this is going to be something that Tillerson is going to be correcting very quickly within the first few hours. Thank you once again, Odumbo, for sabotaging and lighting all sorts of fires and all sorts of sabotage throughout the entire world before you leave office, you piece of crap. That's what I got to say about that season. That's my little breakdown of Hillary's last coup with her henchwoman, Victoria F the EU, Nuland.
V, it's just pure insanity. It's the equivalent of trying to reupholster the furniture on the Titanic with the EU.
Oh, man.
I mean,
absolutely.
Do they think that this is going to, help influence Germany to try to stay positive around their pivot that's bound to occur? I mean, it's just ridiculous that they would do this. I mean, we've seen it time after time, and you're exactly right. The last 48 hours is kind of like that. Oh, don't forget, we're still here, even though the world is changing. The EU, we can save it. We can save it. We just got to do these few things. Just insane.
It's just the absolute. Their stupidity has gone past ludicrous, bro. I mean, if anybody's a fan of Spaceballs, there's a thing called light speed, and there's ludicrous speed, and then there's a point of ludicrous speed where you go plaid. Their stupidity, the globalist stupidity, has gone plaid. It's gone. It's just vulgarly stupid at this point, CJ. I have no other words to describe it. Like, you have the last few hours. I mean, most normal people on the last couple of days of their job will be like packing up their office, saying their goodbyes. They'll be, looking for an exit stage left, and of course they'll be like, popping resumes left and right. Hopefully some institution will, or somebody will take them up. Nope, not these a-holes. These guys are so much of assholes. They're such assholes, bro. They cannot help themselves. They can't help themselves, CJ. So they have to go out and sabotage. These truly are the agents of chaos. These were the guys who were running the empire of chaos, as Pepe Escobar would love to say. These are the jockeys All right, these are the jockeys of exceptional stand, bro. Good riddance. I mean, my God, this is more headaches for the Trump administration to clean up. It's more headaches for us to deal with. Unreal, man.
Oh yeah, and that shift of U.S. foreign policy cannot happen quick enough. But you're exactly right. Yeah, pack it up. It's the last 48 hours. I can understand maybe a phone call saying, okay, take care, good luck, goodbye, and everything else. But sitting there still trying to influence other countries and meddling, the whole meddling into, trying to save the EU, it's not going to happen. We're going to see elections are going to be happening real soon. Germany, France, so forth, and the entire EU is going to be far from irrelevant soon. Be
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, London Paul said it best. You're gonna see it broken down into possibly smaller currency unions. I mean, the much talked about Nordic EU will probably emerge, and that's going to be some sort of a currency union between Germany and Finland and Norway and the northern European countries that actually have economies. Oh crap! There's a fire alarm. Hold on one second,
okay.
man.
I'll get you muted. Do you want to mute
Yeah.
it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Mute.
All
There
right,
we
I'm
go.
good. I'm good.
Cool. Everything all right? There's no fire, right?
No fire. All set. All set.
Okay.
Just a little fire alarm test, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, so rather than going off into the sunset, they're doing the same bull crap, dude. I mean, look at how they're playing chicken, bro. Look how they're playing chicken. Like, what are they doing now, bro? What are they doing on the border with Russia on top of everything else that Newland is doing?
We covered this a while back, but it's just amazing the amount. Here we are. Not since World War II have we put troops on Russian borders this close. We continue the saber rattling to the Ukraine is probably the tipping point of all this, and
Yeah.
primarily because, think of it this way, the U.S. has had so much negative influence in Ukraine the last several years, and so now we're in for a huge change in foreign policy, where now the established government, which is U.S. based, right? The government of Ukraine, that, okay, is that support no longer going to be there? Well, I wouldn't even call it support. I'd call it mingling. So now we have NATO that is 85% US. So when you think of NATO, don't even really think of NATO. Just think of US with, different, what are their white arm patches that they wear,
Yeah.
V. So it's
Yeah.
majority US based is what NATO is. So now, we see just 1 week, thousands of US troops arrived in Poland to support, I'm not even calling NATO, US efforts against what they call anti-Russian buildup across Eastern Europe. There's 300 US Marines from Camp Lejeune landed in Norway on Monday for a 6-month deployment, making the first time since World War II that foreign troops have been allowed to be stationed there. In the deployment, breaking with decades of tradition by Norway not to host foreign forces and angering Norway's Arctic neighbor Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So again, so we now we have troops. They did the war gaming, right? So a couple months ago they did these war gamings. We had all this these tanks and everything that came in, and they drove by the border lines, and so now we're putting troops on the ground. I mean, how reckless is this? This is just and thank God that Vladimir Putin is an established leader, that he understands what this truly is, V. But could you imagine if Russia or China was amassing troops along the Mexican border or the Canadian border? What would happen?
Oh, I mean, we'd have our panties in a bunch. The Warhawks, who've never even fired a water gun in their entire life, the Warhawks, who've never been in a fight in their entire life, would be so adept and so quick to, oh, we need to respond militarily. It's such Russian aggression, Russian aggression, Russian aggression. And they'll be trying to whip us up into a tizzy like a bunch of rabid chihuahuas, bro. That's exactly what would happen if the type of actions were taken against us on our borders. Okay, but look how calm and cool and collect that Putin is. Okay, and just to show you guys how badass the Russians are. Okay, just to give you guys that they are not only one, but 2 generations ahead of us in terms of missile technology. That they're not only one, but 2 generations ahead of us in terms of electronic warfare. And I'm telling you right now, their military, they have better hardware than we do. I am a long-time student of military equipment. I consider myself a bit of a damn near expert on hardware, man. And I'm telling you right now, it's pretty damn remarkable because when you look at this, right? And I sent you the this latest link, CJ. If you could pull it out, I think it's from the Guardian. Let me just pull it real quick. Here we go. All right, here's the deal. Okay, if you look at recently, okay, this was put out by Express. This is basically a British tabloid, right? And the Express has said this. It says Russians forcing RAF to abort missions in Syria by hacking into their systems. Okay, that's what the idiotic, London Guardian sorry, the UK Express is saying because they don't know any better. They think this is, they're hacking, Panavian tornadoes and Eurofighter typhoons. It is thought the attacks may be aimed at causing air crews to hit wrong targets, leading to collateral damage in a bid to undermine Britain's mission. The news emerges as Russian President Vladimir Putin stands accused of using increasingly sophisticated technology to launch cyber attacks in the U.S. Bunch of horse shit. At least 3 sorties, 2 involving RAF tornadoes and the other a typhoon, were hacked over the last few weeks. In 2 cases, the attacks were successfully intercepted by RAF weapons air crew. However, both missions had to be aborted to avoid the possibilities of bombs landing on incorrect. Look, first and foremost, these guys do not care. Okay, they do not care if they hit the wrong target. When do these guys care about human life and human suffering, CJ? When?
Oh, God, I don't know. 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
Right.
But even longer than that. I mean, Bush did the same thing. They don't care.
Right. Absolutely. Now check this out. Last night, experts suggested that the attacks. Oh, let me put on my British accent. Last night, the experts suggested that the attacks were disrupted by the way of the RAF bombers, who received GPS coordinates for targets on the ground, a known vulnerability in which the Russia is capable of capitalizing on what U.S. General Ben Hodges recently described as an eye-watering array of electronic jamming and disruption equipment. These include the IRL-257 Karushka 4 ground-based electronic warfare system, photographed at Syria's Hyman Air Base last year. So the Brits are out there trying to figure out, our planes are being hacked. No, your planes aren't being hacked, you morons. What's happening is that they're being hit with such electronic warfare that your planes can't even function their targeting computers. But the only thing left for you to do this electronic warfare is so damn good. If they turn it up all the way, they could literally cause that plane to literally fall out of the sky. So what they're doing, they left it just enough so the Brits could hightail it the hell out of there. Because what would typically happen on a real air-to-air, if this was a real conflict, just to give you circle jerkers a reality check, you will fly your Eurofighter Typhoons. You will fly your Panavian Tornadoes, which I love the Tornado. It's a great plane. Swing wing, variable geometry. Love it. You'll fly your Panavian Tornadoes. You'll fly your F-16s, your F-15E Strike Eagles. And if you're so stupid enough, you'd put an F-22 up there as providing air cover for the attacking force. And you would think you're invincible and nobody could see you and you're stealth because you have an F-22 up there with an AWACS, flying command and control. So you're thinking you're running a whole air operation. All of a sudden, zap, your radars go dead. Your F-22s are flying blind. Your AWACS is nowhere to be seen. And then the next thing you know, on the horizon, is you'll have a bunch of Su-35s, super flankers. A bunch of Su-35s show up. And the next you know, CJ, shit's got real. It's just got real, man. It's got real, bro. Okay?
Absolutely.
And next thing you know, one by one, Eurofighter Typhoons, Tornadoes, F-22s are being blown out of the sky. And before even that happens, the first thing they'll take out is that AWACS. That AWACS will go smoking right into the ground in a fireball. That's what would happen in a Russian counteroffensive. The radar systems on the opposing enemy planes go blind. The so-called invisible F-22 will be lit up like a Christmas tree. If they were stupid enough to even put a beta testing their F-35, which only works 40% of the time, that flying turkey into that battle space, CJ, the flying turkey will be blown to bits.
It'll be toast.
That's how far ahead Russian electronic warfare is. It is correct. Like what the General Ben Hodges says, it is eye-watering. It is eye-watering. But the Russians ain't doing that. They're playing cool. In the midst of these a-holes, CJ, building up their armed forces on the ground. Is that a joke, man? Their armed forces, they're putting American M1A2s and German Leopard 2 A26s on the border of right in the border of Germany. What would happen? They would get hit with a powerful electronic warfare weapon, disabling the tanks. Tanks won't even start. Then you'll have T-90 MSs coming out of nowhere, lighting up the Leopard 2s and the M1A2 Abrams left and right. Those things will be going up like Roman candles. Okay, everything will go dark, and you probably might have some Apaches and some Eurocopter Tiger 2s that are flying close air support for the ground troops. And next thing you know, those helicopters are getting jammed up, and they're getting blown out of the sky by Ka-50 Black Sharks. That's reality. You want a war game? And I just gave you, audience, listen, I just gave you an entire war game that a think tank would have paid me hundreds of thousands of dollars to war game for. That's the war game. And these a-holes in command and control know this. The real guys know this. The neocon circle jerkers who think this is the Cold War, that Russia's going to fight this, the quality, quantity over quality type of warfare. They're just going to be throwing everything they had against you. No, it's going to be surgical. And their army is better networked than ours at this point. That is the reality of it. And we'll have egg on our face. And the world will see that the emperor has no clothes. That's the whole deal, CJ.
Boom.
That's the whole deal. Playing chicken with the Russians, bro. Like I said before, CJ, they're stupid. There's really stupid. And there's invading Russia. Oh, man.
Incredible.
Speaking of Russia, what is, while we're out there circle jerking and, Russia and China's out there, making trillions of dollars in deals and business ventures and whatnot, what is the world's largest oil company that is 2.5 times bigger than ExxonMobil? What are they doing, CJ?
Well, it appears, V, that we're going to be seeing some new oil developments, some new things going on in the Gulf of Mexico.
What? ¿Qué pasó? How?
How in the world did that happen, right?
Yeah.
So apparently, they've come to understand that, utilizing, intelligence, to help with the navigation, some of the help with the oil drilling, they have came upon an agreement, V, that's going to allow them to explore the Gulf of Mexico for oil. I'm pulling that article up right now. Let's see. Did you send the right link? I think
I sent if you, I'll send you the right link right now. This is the Reuters link. I apologize, bro.
No worries. I'll
the
go,
wrong one.
I'll go right here.
I got it, man. Send it to you right now. Oh wait, I'm sending it to you.
Yeah. So
Rosneft,
yes, one of the leading companies in the world oil business, adopted a new development strategy to gain qualified intelligence through collaborative projects with the sharks of the West. The first step in this direction is an agreement with ExxonMobil to develop the potential oil fields off the coast of the Gulf of Mexico.
Nice.
So this is huge.
It's absolutely massive, man. Absolutely massive, because the whole thing is this. It's wild. See, only little kids with temper tantrums would be like so hell-bent on blowing up the world, like these neocons and these neolibs. What the adults are doing is, hey, There's money to be made. Let's all come together and make money. That's what the adults in the room are doing, CJ. And the fact of the matter is that the Trump administration is the adults. We're going to have some sanity return, back to American foreign policy, some sanity return, because this kind of nonsense got to stop. So Rosneft, the world's largest oil company, is out there, exploring Mexico, and Exxon, whom Tillerson has a close ties to, is helping them with that. You could see the underlying tones. It's going to be. Can you see the beauty of this? American and Russian firms will be working together to extract energy resources from the ground. American and Russian forces will be working together to put an end to globalism, to put an end to radical Islamic terrorism. We will be finally look. There's a huge potential. This is why the globals can't stand. That's why these that the cat turd Victoria Nuland, the cat turd. That's her new name. It's so bad. I have named her so late in the game. She's leaving. I gave her a name that finally sticks, CJ. She's finally freaking leaving. I can't believe it. So the cat turd, Victoria Nuland, that's why she can't help but create chaos. She knows as an area of peace, this demoniac has this urge, this demonic urge. I must create chaos. I must blow shit up. And that's exactly what's happening. She's got to wreck things up, man. Last minute. These globalists can't help themselves, CJ.
And while Russia and China continue this development, so this is pretty impressive. So according to Vice President of Center for Strategic Communications, Dmitry Obzalov, access to the U.S. market is promising for Rosneft, and the Russia as a whole region.
Yep.
In this option is attractive in its available transport infrastructure plus a 30% stake in the project. Rosneft will be able to improve the competence in matters of offshore operations, which will be priceless for the company in the Arctic after signing the shelf agreement with the European companies. So this is huge. So in addition to the contract with Exxon, on March 6th, Rosneft has signed an agreement on a long-term supply of oil from the world's largest trading companies, Glencore and Vitol. The agreement with Glencore provides a delivery of up to 46.9 million tons.
Wow.
Huge. Under the contracts, the Russian company will receive an advance up to $10 billion, which will be used to generate corporate and investment purposes. Well, so much for sanctions. Obviously, they're not working. All this is incredible. This is just incredible.
Man, the only thing these sanctions have worked for, bro, okay, it has done nothing. And I literally mean it's done nothing to stop Russia. It's preposterous for these fools to think that these sanctions has any sort of effect. You can't sanction a country that's a trading partner of China. You can't isolate a country that's the trading partner of China. You can't do any of that. Like, what were these guys thinking, CJ? Like, what were they thinking, bro?
Well, it's amazing they had anyone from the EU agreeing to sign up on these things. I mean, they've expanded more, and it it hurt the currency there in Russia just for a hiccup, right? And then boom, everything came back with these agreements and the last several years that they've been doing with the BRICS. So this is just another a reason why that the whole thing with placing either all these sanctions just do not work, just unreal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? The globalists, they're not stopping even there as well. What is occurring besides their at the same time? This is how stupid these idiots are. At the same time of creating havoc across the world, they were doing their soft coup here in the United States, trying to take out President-elect Donald Trump. Okay, how did that wind up, man?
No, it's over, and it's all getting called out. So the CIA, in terms of what they were trying to produce evidence of the hack, and Russia's came out and pretty much said that this did not happen. We did not hack. You've had Julian Assange came out and said, we never even were approached by anyone asking who provided us with this information. So it is making the CIA just absolutely look foolish at this point. V, it truly is.
Yeah,
so
it good.
Good. I was going to say, so this soft coup that was attempted to steal the election from the American people is dead. It's DOA. There is no credibility. I mean, think about it. Who are the voices that are backing this whole CIA? Trump called out the other day asking Brennan if he was the one that leaked the information. Remember that? Did you see that? He put out a tweet saying, "Well, maybe Brennan, maybe you're the one responsible for leaking the information." So he called him out. And then you have people like, John McCain and his girlfriend Lindsey Graham that are.
I love it.
So we need to have investigations, and we just can't allow this to happen, and it really upsets us that Trump isn't more upset by this. Just absolutely ridiculous. So it really it's going to expose even more. And when Flynn takes over, there's going to be some massive changes occurring at the CIA.
Yep. People are going to get fired or worse, bro. I've been saying this for quite some time. Y'all going to get fired or worse. Again, you idiots at the Cocaine Import Agency, you sycophant, citizen-based bunch of morons. You guys couldn't go quietly into the night. By performing the soft coup, all you have done is become the nail that stood up. You performed a soft coup like this was Turkey and that Trump was Erdogan. You performed a soft coup, and this is backfired on you. Okay, the CIA was bluffing. They produced no evidence. Russians did not hack the election. This is the beginning of the end. The deep state is dying. And here's the article goes on to say, it says credit for the defeat of the soft coup has been earned by two persons and one group. Donald Trump earns the most credit, bringing to the matter his deep business experience and common sense. He understood that the narrative against Russia was exaggerated, fabricated, and out of context. With that foundation, he was willing to listen to the second person, Michael Flynn, whose deep personal experience in the netherworld of black special operations and green clandestine and covert action operations informs him in a manner few can claim. The group has many members, but three stand out. William Binney, the senior executive, like an admiral or general, who created the NSA capability, has been used against U.S. politicians and also to monitor activity of all cyber spies. Not only Russia was the first to reveal that the leaks were coming from insiders. Ray McGovern, retired CIA analyst, founder of the Veterans Intelligence Professionals for Sanity, VIPs, has been a respected voice challenging the false assertions by the CIA against Russia. And finally, Steve Pisenik must be recognized, a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State who was instrumental in certifying the death of bin Laden in 2001 and denouncing the multiple false bin Ladens created by the CIA thereafter, including the final patsy provided by Pakistan to enable a theatrical rescue that killed many U.S. special operators for no reason other than to give Barack Obama an edge toward re-election. That's the whole entire operation was about. This is what I'm saying. You morons, instead of being an actual intelligence agency, you become a politicized fifth column. You're an enemy of the state. Pisenik was the first to announce that a counter coup against Hillary Clinton was being undertaken by insiders. Thank God. This is the good guys that Bix always talks about. I've done what I could, and I am proud to stand up in support of Donald Trump and against the lies by the leaders of the United States intelligence community. We must be careful to not confuse the unethical leaders with well-intentioned good people trapped in a very bad system. That's a very good point. I want to read that again for all the audience members. We must be careful not to confuse the unethical, sycophant, circle-jerking loser leaders with the well-intentioned good people trapped in a very bad system. Think about that statement the next time you think about it. Why is Trump appointing this guy to the cabinet? Think about that. The leaders tried a coup and failed. The contributions of Julian Assange and WikiLeaks cannot be overstated. However, it must be made clear that without the work of retired intelligence professionals, ambassadors, and U.S. spy specialists willing to risk everything to challenge the U.S. intelligence community lies, the assertions of Assange with respect to sourcing would have been overwhelmed by the official narrative. The captive media in the USA, and I single out the crap news network, CNN, has no intelligence, has no integrity. They are the purveyors of fake news. This is the cause of a small band of Davids defeating an aging, arthritically stricken, arrogant. I'm pooping in a colostomy bag, Goliath. That's what this whole thing is, CJ. It is David returning and beating the crap out of an arrogant, arthritic, colostomy bagged Goliath, bro. That's
Absolutely.
what this whole thing is about, man. This is a huge move. An absolutely huge move. And we all know this soft coup, Brennan, you guys should be brought up as criminals. You guys are a terrorist organization. When it comes out that you a-holes have created ISIS, you guys have named it, funded it. You fondled the damn thing. When the world finds out, and we all know this, when it becomes official, I hope to God that, one of my good buddies in Cali, he was very close friends with one of the founders of Delta Force. Asked him this very same question. If these globalists are caught and they're brought between a firing squad, would you fire the rifle that kills them? And this founding member of Delta said, I wouldn't use a rifle. I will get up close and personal with a pistol. And I hope that's what happens to every single one of you fifth column politicized bastards who masquerade as an intelligence agency, you disgusting filth, to see this organization, this bloated bureaucracy purged, smashed to 1,000 pieces, and cast to the wind. I cannot wait. That's what I got to say about that, TJ.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the other aspect too, V, that I think a little bit credit that needs to go to is us in the truth media, right?
Yep.
If you think of, several years ago, the old school thought of the CIA is, how you control the information, you control the narrative, and they accomplished that with the MSM. But now with so many aspects of social media, with the internet, with the massive amount of alt media presence, they couldn't control the narrative that they once used to. They lost that. And it speaks volumes of why, like certain companies like Germany heading up to the elections, that they tried to accomplish these things like censoring fake news, with censoring posts that they regard as fake media, but are really the truth of the matter. So this whole information that's made available, that many called that out when they saw that information come out. They're like, show us the proof. We're not going to sit here to your daily programming and just believe something just because you said it. That face value is not enough.
Exactly. And it's laughable every time I'm hearing Russian. I'm walking around, and most people, man, they don't believe the establishment anymore. They've lost the narrative. Okay, they've lost the narrative, and the handwriting's on the wall, and yet they don't stop. The soft coup don't stop, so they can't get a Trump. What do they do? I mean, we just found out what happened to Roger Stone, bro.
Yeah, that's just pretty incredible. So InfoWars broke this information in regards to Roger Stone, who is very healthy individual. He works out, he jogs, he eats healthy, but he came down with some massive health problems.
Yeah.
So long story short, he developed these routine stomach viruses that eventually he grew exceedingly very ill. So when he went to his doctors for examination, and obviously they did the blood work and everything, it was determined that there was a level of poisoning that occurred, that he was specifically targeted with a radioactive substance
Polonium.
used.
Yep, polonium.
Yes, polonium, to attempt to kill him. And who's been probably and you've had Roger Stone on before, V. He's been a guest before. At one time he was actually the campaign chair of Trump back in its early infant stages. But who has been more outspoken? Who has been a critic of the globalists? It's been Roger Stone. He's been on the forefront of it the whole time. I mean, this guy waged war to get Trump elected, and now they actively try to take him out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. They hit him with polonium polonium-210. This is how stupid they are. See, when the Russians hit you with polonium, you're dead. When the circle jerk agency or hits you with polonium, you'll most likely have a stomach virus and just fall ill. That's the difference. And the thing is this, man, like polonium is not something that you and we can't walk into Walmart and look for polonium. It's a hard thing to get. So clearly this guy was hit at some point, with this poison. And that's what led to his health ailments. I mean, this guy was, I was wondering what happened to Roger Stone because I haven't heard from him in like 8 weeks. I'm like, it's the Trump election. You got the inauguration coming. Where the hell's Roger Stone? Well, he's been on, crawling on his stomach, vomiting, sick as a dog. Sick like a dog with flu-like symptoms and whatnot. They had no idea he's been poisoned. And this is the kind of crap that is not only backfired. Look, there's a frequency change here. It is the hand of God himself that is exposing these globalist cretins left and right. It's the hand of God itself, CJ. That is out there. Yeah, man, that's out there. Everything these globalists are doing, it's backfiring on them. It's exploding in their face. It's exposing them all the more. They can't just get away from it, CJ. You can't ignore it anymore, bro.
No. They can't. And when they have people like Vladimir Putin that's out there trolling the CIA and really, making them mad, and he speaks his mind, he comes out and says what he truly thinks. I'm not sure if you saw it or not, V, but in the most recent interview, Vladimir was asked regarding the whole CIA and everything, and he just, pretty much called it foolishness that they didn't do this. But he went on to say that if Trump didn't use Russian prostitutes, even though we've got the best.
Oh man, exactly, brother. Exactly. Which also brings us to, I think, a noble thing that Obama has done before leaving office. He was, doling out pardons and whatnot. So what did he do?
I mean, I just wish that Snowden and Julian could have saw this coming, because perhaps they could have became.
Well, if they would have transitioned, exactly. If Julian Assange, listen to me very carefully, sir. You don't have to do this all the way, but shave very well. I recommend Harry's for a really good shaving kit, even though they're not paying me a penny to say this. I like Harry's. I've made the switch to them from Gillette. So shave very cleanly. Put on a wig, some makeup, and say that you're transitioning. If you would have done that, Julian Assange, Obama would have pardoned you. He would have allowed you, because then you would be part of the protected class that is within the left itself, within the American left, which is the trannies, the transsexuals. Okay, Edward Snowden. Snowden, I know you're like an alpha dog. You're a very driven individual. You are a man's man. But Ed, change your name to Edwina. Put on a wig, and Obama could have. There's still time. Okay, we have 48 hours of Barry Skidmark left. Skidmark can have a crisis of conscience, but you have to pull it off well. You have to do a press conference. You have to be dolled up. Leggings, the whole 9 yards. Barry would immediately, you'll trigger the memories of Barry Bathhouse when back in the days in Chicago where he was known as Barry Bathhouse. Okay, you would have instantly triggered the memories of his early homosexual days and his cavorting in bathhouses, and he would have commuted your sentences. He would have dismissed the charges. He would have probably even pardoned you guys. Isn't it funny that the only country in the world that has a warrant against Julian Assange is Sweden for raping some Swedish chick, right? Which is a bunch of BS,
that's
right?
Not true, right? Completely fabricated.
But right now, Sweden, and this is how God works. God's funny like that. This is how the universe works. Sweden right now is the rape capital of Europe. How do you like them apples? Julian Assange raped this girl that he had consensual sex with, but 10 days later she said, You know what? It really wasn't consensual, and I'd like to go back and return what I had just bought and say that he raped me. But now you got you got a whole bunch of the unwashed masses from the third world. You know these migrants that are raping women left and right over there now. So hands off to you. But apart from that, guys, it's still not too late. We got 48 hours. 48 hours, and Skidmore could have a crisis of conscience, and he will revert to Bathhouse Barry and give you a full pardon. What say you, CJ?
I firmly believe that that's one of the reasons that he was released. Obviously, Manny, I applaud it. Definitely, I'm not going to take that away. I'm glad he was released. He was one of the first true whistleblowers that was in prison for his actions. And and again, it probably began the whole prominence vision of WikiLeaks and what it evolved to. So we're very thankful for that. The important message that I want to get out, V, regarding this, so I'm glad that he's going to be released. Obama has basically had pardoned him all but 4 months of his sentence. The thing that I'm worried about is that Julian Assange had came out and pledged that he was willing to be extradited if Manning was released. And Julian, I have no problem if you renege on that, brother, because I don't know if I'd be rolling the dice on that right now. Maybe wait and see what falls out the next few months, but I don't think there's any reason to go walking out of that embassy. Not at this time.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm thinking about that. I mean, it's like it's a prison sentence. I mean, I don't know what he's doing in that embassy, man. I just hope he's got all his entertainment needs taken care of. That he's not bored to tears. Luckily, he still has an internet connection. He's probably still connected to the rest of the world.
Yeah, if you ever get check it out. He did a really good interview with I believe it was RT a while back, but I think he said mentally probably the most challenging thing is that he doesn't get to see his kids. That's the thing that's really taking its toll on him. So
I didn't even know he had kids.
Yeah, I believe he has two kids, and so he said I believe that's been the hardest thing that has been to get through it. Yeah, so and I think we can all understand and respect that.
I mean, let the guy go, man. I know Trump is going to drop any charges against Assange.
Yeah, Snowden and all them, bring him home. Let's learn from it. Let's learn from it. Let's become better because of it. And what does it be? Go forth and be epic.
Yeah, go forth and be epic, man. That's what it's all about. Go forth and be epic. Which brings us to seems like some Putin and MAGA news.
Yeah, so I mean, it just again, he continues to troll the CIA and stay,
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, just every step of the way he does, and so again, he has came out and said, you know what, look, this same effort that you're doing in this soft coup against Trump is the same thing that you accomplished in Ukraine, and it's so true. Just stepping back to think about that, Ukraine, prior to this whole deal going down, they had already entered an agreement with Russia. You remember that, V? They had already signed economic development plans. They already agreed to all this, and then boom, John Kerry steps in. They come in with this color revolution backed by fascists, by Nazis that said, you know what, there's a civil war that's occurring in the Ukraine, and they took out the elected president and placed in their own. And Putin saying this is the same thing. This is the exact same coup attempt that was attempted or that accomplished in Ukraine that you're now doing against Trump.
Yeah. Exactly.
So and Putin, so Vladimir Putin had this huge press conference, talking about it, and this one goes on to say, in my opinion, there are several goals. Some are obvious. The first is to undermine the legitimacy of the elected president of the United States. Incidentally, in this connection, I would like to note that whether people who do it want it or don't, they greatly damage U.S. interest. Mm-hmm. It seems they are trained for this in Kiev and now ready to organize a maiden in Washington not to let Trump assume office, Putin said. The second goal is to tie the hands of legs of the newly elected president related to the implementation of his pre-election campaign promises to the American people and the international community, which is so true. So true. That's what they don't want. They don't want to see this pivot away from the last 8 years of the amount of destruction, the amount of havoc that we've created around the globe. It's time to reel that in.
Absolutely, man. And the thing is also, guys, is the thing I want to stress here. I think it was like over a year and a half ago, maybe like 2 years ago, where I started talking about it and started warning everybody, hey, man, there's going to be color revolutions coming into the United States, and voila, it's here. We're facing our we just faced our own Maidan. Um, you know, Yesterday you and I, CJ, we talked about the guys from Project Veritas, finding out what these leftist idiots are doing. They got busted with their butyric acid, and then after I gave the 6 health benefits of butyric acids and what the left could do to consume as much butyric acid as possible. But this is the kind of crap that happens. You assholes, for lack of a better word. Okay, at this point, it's like how do I just can't get into the mentality of these people anymore, CJ. Like,
No,
do they get up in the morning and like, I'm going to be an asshole today? Whose life can I screw up? Is that what they do, bro?
it is, and they're just, there's studies that come out in terms of how the media, with the whole politicizing around Trump, and the whole fake narrative that they built around him, and unfortunately, there's some people that so bought into that that's what they're living and breathing right now, is that hate that Trump is going to close off all the borders, that he's going to ship people off from the U.S., tear families apart. There's some people that are so emotionally driven that they're just stuck on that, and I don't try to understand them, primarily because I think there's a certain level of insanity that happens there. But what I do know is this: is that our country's had a tradition. We should cherish our democracy and what we have, and come this Friday, regarding whether you're participating in the marches that are going to be occurring in Washington, D.C. There's a huge woman movement that's going to be there marching the next several days, women's rights and all that. That's a whole fabricated line regarding, what's happened, and they're trying to do that. And let's think about this way as a country. Let's embrace the change that's going to happen. Let's give Donald Trump a chance. If you look at the past 8 years, the past 16 years, things can't get any worse, right? So again, just this whole idea around the inauguration, and things are going to occur on Friday. I just pray that there's no events that happen. I hope that everyone comes, responsibly, and you have the right to protest if you want to do that. That's fine. But watch out for these groups, because they do exist. Well, they will try to infiltrate. They have smaller amounts of groups, and they'll try to hijack a rally or something and try to make it their own. We see it all the time.
Did you see the advertisements they were putting out? $2,500 for protesters?
Yeah, absolutely.
$2,500. I mean, think about any broke person. You're out there, you got 5 baby mamas. You're one of those generational welfare cases or whatnot, or you're just a privileged white kid who's got nothing better to do with his life. But be I'm an anarchist communist. I mean, you got to be that dumb. Your IQ has to be at like room temperature to hold those two opposing. I'm an anarchist communist. What? And they put on those stupid handkerchiefs and shout "F the police," and they foment the idiot sheeple to have some sort of violent reaction. I'm telling you right now, man, if I'm ever caught in one of those things, some dude's yelling over my shoulder, F the police, I'm an anarchist cat, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to whack you so hard, you're going to wind up swallowing your handkerchief. I'm going to knock your handkerchief right off your face. It's going to happen. I'm going to lay you out. That's what these guys, this is what the left needs. These are the kids that got out of hand, that their daddies running around and smack them up. They probably had beta male fathers. There was nobody to smack them across the head and say, hey, knock it off. There's nobody there to do that, CJ. And this is the type of kids that far leftists produce. They produce this coddled, wimpy, sycophant type kids who are absolutely entitled and they're running amok. And I hope that the left is out there, these far left groups that want to come down and protest. I hope the real violent ones probably have weapons. If they did, I hope those weapons backfire on them. I hope you all shoot yourselves. I hope you all have accidental discharges on your own foot. I hope you all shoot yourself in the groin, your leg, whatever. Because that's the frequency change. You guys are just painting yourselves as the enemies of America. And you know what? So far, us adults, we've been pretty quiet and we've been pretty tolerant about what's going on, CJ. But, yeah. After the 20th, I don't think we're going to be as tolerant. I think we're going to, I'm telling you, CJ, I'm telling you, bro. I have zero tolerance for these wackadoos. Zero. If they're in my vicinity or in the vicinity of my family, I will neutralize them. It's that bad, CJ. It's bad. It's real bad.
And just be mindful there. I'm not sure if you've seen the bikers that are heading to DC right now, but they're coming out in thousands to become a wall, a shield, if you will, and those guys don't play. So you just be mindful of that. And I think overall, I think it'll be very peaceful. Yeah, they're going to be like isolated things. There's going to be, and of course, the media is going to hype that up, right? So, again, all we can do right now is just pray for the safety of everyone and those people come together. And it's a very peaceful event that occurs.
Yep, absolutely. With that being said, CJ, it seems that we are at the end of these illustrious broadcast. You got your closing comments?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone, check it out. Yesterday, I kind of want to make some sense of the two videos that we posted yesterday, but very optimistic about some of the leaders that are out there to help with the kids, the millennials that are going through school. Yesterday, we did an awesome interview with a gentleman by the name of Don Wettrick, who is on the forefront of reinnovating the classroom and really challenging the kids to innovate, to become entrepreneurs. And when we went through that interview, we were so excited about some of the things that he was talking about. He's like, in fact, I've got, two students that, created their own YouTube channel. And then when he went through the backgrounds of the kids, it was just amazing stories. Jack Corselli really struggled with obesity, and he needed a lot of self-help. So he basically turned that into a whole broadcast of talking about, the whole, mental illness and everything, just more of a self-help and just really phenomenal things. And the other gentleman, Robert Jones, great kid, grew up kind of a challenged life, and he's a conservative, so it's even harder for him being a young black, male growing up in that. But he has a great message as well. So check those interviews out. Good stuff.
And the fact that Robert Jones, man, I mean, here's a kid who survived his parents are dead. Like he's the only kid. His parents are dead in a murder suicide, and he was able to rebuild his life. These guys are inspiration. If those two kids don't inspire you, my God, you're not living, man. You need to check your pulse. Those kids, I want to hug those dudes. Those guys, those two kids are amazing. Just amazing guys, man. Just wow. So blown away. So blown away. Those two kids, in my opinion, for myself, that was the best interview I ever did in my life. And wow. I've interviewed a lot of people, bro. I've interviewed a lot of people. When I see the spark of life in those guys, man, to me, I don't care if they didn't have a grasp on globalism, this, that, and the other, or they were not some educated in the goings ons of the world. I don't give a rat's ass. When I saw that spark of life in those two kids' eyes, man, that did it for me, bro. That did it for me.
Absolutely.
And with that being said, I am the illustrious ape, the one and only true majestic ape, on another morning broadcast. And again, guys, check us out on roguemoney.net. Check out the podcasting app on both iOS and Android. Check out the news on Apple News. Subscribe to this channel. Spread the love. Tell your friends, your family. We need all the love and support we can get. And with that being said, also check out myfreedomnow.us if you need help with your credit score. It doesn't matter if you got crap credit. If your credit is crap, or it doesn't even matter if you don't have crap credit, or you have collections agencies or whatnot. If you just need to have your credit just boosted up, just so you get refinanced, buy a home or whatnot, check out myfreedomnow.us. My Freedom Now, With that being said, and we're over and out. Take it away, CJ.